We are checking our microphone to see how it sounds. What the hell, man? What the hell, man? Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. Yeah. Just gonna do that for now. Yeah. How's this? Check, check, 2, 2. Check, check, 2, 2. How's this? Check, check, 2, 2. Alright, that's fine. Is Carnage ready, Eerie? Alright, that's fine. Is Carnage ready, Eerie? Because if so, I'll just roll. Alright, on my way. Wait, Eerie lost to Greeky? Is Greeky that good these days? I'd be mad too. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I'm honestly so perplexed. There's nothing different about my mic or about my settings or anything than before. No clue. So frustrating. So unbelievably frustrating. Checkity check check. Checkity check check. God damn. Fixed? No, it was plugged in all the way. That's very bizarre, honestly. Alright, tell me, how about now? Is it still fixed? Still fixed? Check, checky, check, checky. Check, checky, check, checky. Good? Sweet. Alright, well, nice. I just turned the... just turn the volume all the way up and the gain all the way up on the mic itself, so I don't know, guys. Sorry about that. Alright, here we go. We're gonna get right into it here, boys and girls. Gonna be on equal footing, so starting out pretty boring. It's okay though. Let me see if I can get you guys in a bit of a casting scene here. I'm gonna have to look into it a little bit more because I had the settings the same previously, and it so I don't know what changed, you know. But nevertheless, here we are. We're getting right into this show match. We've got Eerie down in the south as the Blue Celts, and we've got Carnage as the Red Persians. It's an interesting matchup. I actually recently lost a Celt versus Persia matchup to Crimson Cantab on Arabia. Arabia is a little bit of a different story, right? Because it's a much bigger map than Equal Footing, but really in this matchup, the Celt player wants to be prepared for... The Persian player has a lot of options. The Persian player could go for a Bowman Ball. The Persian player could go heavy on Asabara. The Celt player does not have a ton of answers to Asabara in Age 2. The Celt player can get Spearmen, but, you know, obviously the Celtic Spearmen are somewhat... I mean, they're cheap, but because they're cheap, they're not the strongest spearmen in the game, so... Oh, shoot, redeemed push-ups. Alright, I'll get you some push-ups, my man. Let's see here, so let me catch up on this as well. Greeky's predicting Eerie 2-0 or 3-0. Okay, so you're predicting Carnage isn't even going to win a game. That's bold. I gotta say, that's bold. Eerie is bringing some spearmen across the map here. Got some nice looking vanity gear there on those spearmen. They're gonna actually pick up Carnage's scout here if Carnage doesn't pay attention. There he goes. So, but Carnage does have some Sparabara out now, so that should do just fine. Eerie's not going to find much there. Yeah, he doesn't even have very many spearmen to deal with these Sparabara. So Carnage is going to defend that early aggression from Eerie. Eerie's going to fall back a little bit. But yeah, as I was saying, guys, the Celt player doesn't have a ton of answers to Asabara in H2. So we could see Carnage going heavy on the Asabara. We could see him going for a 1-1-1 composition, you know, with a Rax, an archer range, and a stables to kind of go for Asabara, Bowman, and then either Sparabara or Spearman. You know, and then the Persian player also has some options in H3. Of course, gain access to Immortals in H3, as well as Mounted Archers. Mounted Archers tend to be somewhat difficult for the Celt player to deal with. The Celt player in H3 really wants to look into Bowman. He wants to look into maybe some Horsemen to help deal with the cavalry from the Persian player. But again, the Persian player has some decent counters to the Celtic player. Although once we reach H4, you know, not a ton changes in H4 for the Persian player in terms of their options. But for the Celtic player, Celtic player does gain access to champions and also Carpentums. So Carpentum's obviously a very powerful unit. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, Eerie is trying to be the early aggressor here, which I think is a good call. As the Celt player, you usually want to go for early aggression. Nevertheless, Persian player is well equipped to defend, especially with Aid Tent. Aid Tent on these storehouses is going to be able to heal up these Sparabara decently well. Very ballsy here from Carnage, going for a town center right where he was just getting attacked and pressured from Eerie. So I don't think Eerie saw that town center go down. He did not. But if he had seen that, that could have been risky there for Carnage. Second town center coming down for Eerie as well. So, ow. Wonder if we'll ever see Carnage Bad Manners Wonder. Has he done one yet in Celeste? I don't think so, Eerie. Or Eaglery. Eaglery. I haven't personally seen one, but who knows? Now's as good a time as any. Oh, versus the Ace. Put next to us in the town center. The Ace, always with the cheese. Big cheesy. So Eerie does know about that town center now. But it's too late for him to do anything about it. But By the same token, he is relatively safe on his side here. He's throwing down a second barracks and going for an archer range. So it looks like Eerie's anticipating that archer range from Carnage, and indeed, Carnage is throwing down the archer range. In fact, did he scout it? No, he didn't scout it, but he's anticipating it. So he is preparing for the Persian bowmen with the slingers, which are anti-ranged. This is a good choice from Eerie. I imagine we'll also see him throwing down a Sacred Grove. He does have enough wood for it. I imagine we'll see a Sacred Grove soon. Okay, he's going for the second archery range first, but again, I'm sure we'll see a Sacred Grove going down to get out some druids. Eerie is churning out some long swords, so he's anticipating more Sparabara here from Carnage. But again, if Carnage kind of goes heavy on some Asabara, then that could be bad for Eerie. But instead, Carnage actually going for a second barracks, which Eerie has denied twice now, and a second archery range. So interesting from Carnage. Honestly, I'm pretty surprised that we aren't seeing Carnage go for the stables. I really anticipated that as the Persian player to not only put pressure on the Celt player, but also just because, again, the Celt answer to the Asabara really is only the Spearman, which is not a spectacular answer. Yeah, the Roman tournament is going to be amazing for sure. It's going to have a huge prize pool. Honestly, the prize pool is going to be, gosh, it's from what I've seen, I think it's going to be the biggest prize pool in Age of Empires Online history. So, it's going to be really cool. Yeah, Eagle, you got to come back, my man. I'll come back when Robs does. Who's Robs? He's my Canadian teammate. Come on, man. We need you back. At least in the casting scene, Eagle. Me and you never got to cast together. Robs is more active lately. Cool. Madlib with the info. Madlib has also been more active recently, which is good to see. I missed you, Madlib, my boy. Carnage still leaning really heavily into this archer range Sparabara composition, or Bowman Sparabara composition. So again, honestly, I'm fairly surprised because the Celt player does have a pretty direct answer to that in the form of the longsword and the slinger. So really, Eerie, he just needs to manage his micro well, and in doing so, he'll really have the upper hand in these engagements. So, yeah, definitely sad I never got a co-cast with Eaglery. I think Eaglery, the last time we possibly had the chance to, we talked about doing it for a tournament way back when. I think like with the Gyarados Gauntlet tournament, I believe. But then you weren't able to cast any on that one, and then I think that's kind of about the time you started to be a little less active. Brother, I've got far from a radio talk show host voice, that's for sure. I can try to do one, though. And here, Eerie rolling across the map. Nah, see, that's more like an audiobook voice. Can't even do it. I'll try to do a Bruce Buffer. If any of you guys are UFC fans, I'll try to do a Bruce Buffer voice here. And now, for the main event, fighting in the red corner. I'm just hurting my voice, sounding like an idiot. Eerie really maximizing his longswords and slingers here. Not as many slingers, more longswords than slingers, which I'm actually a little surprised about. Eerie is going to pick up some nice villager kills here, though. Carnage needs to react to this. Carnage is usually a little bit better about reacting more quickly, so I'm kind of surprised about that, but he did only lose about 2 or 3 villagers. We're at 54 to 53, so about even on villagers. A little bit of an engagement here. This is a nice split push here from Carnage. And Eerie losing some units here. I'm very surprised. Eerie trying to get off a few shots with the slingers there. So it does get off a few kills with the slingers, but now Carnage smells blood. He recognizes that Eerie's actually quite low on population. In fact, Eerie's down by almost 40 population, so I'm actually quite surprised by this from Eerie. And again, Carnage smelling the blood, making a move here. Almost 40 spar bar and almost 50 bowman. So this could be a GG push here if Eerie's not careful. He is... Okay, so this is... I missed this, but this is maybe why Eerie's numbers are so low. He has pushed to H3. And again, you know, I wonder if Eerie was kind of anticipating, you know, what I mentioned earlier about the Celt player not having a ton of answers in H2. But then again, he saw that Carnage went heavy on the Sparabara Bowman. And so, honestly, I'm surprised Eerie did not stay in H2 a little bit longer. And just go heavy on the Slinger Longsword. But he is instead opting to go to H3, get out these Celtic Bowmen. And again, like I mentioned, you know, that is a pretty high priority for the Celt player to get out Bowmen in H3. And he's also got some Horsemen onto the field, so that's nice. Very tanky units, these Horsemen are. But Carnage just has the numbers advantage. He's got 50 Bowmen. His Sparabara are holding strong as well at, you know, 20 plus Sparabara. So much Pierce armor these Sparabara have that now that Eerie is completely out of longswords, he's got no answer. He's got no answer to the Sparabara, which are now on top of the ranged units. This is just GG. Wow, good game. Very interesting there. I'm kind of surprised that Eerie lost that so quickly. He's quite behind in terms of military population. Fairly even in terms of villager count, at least until the very end. Yeah, and in fact, Eerie outgathering Carnage by just a sliver. Technology's about even. In fact, Eerie had a slight lead there. He just didn't have the military population, so wow. Pretty surprised. Yeah, he even says in the chat here, too greedy. Yeah, he went for that H3, so yeah, I'm pretty surprised by that. He got a little too greedy there. Sorry, I missed your message there, Madlib. The last check I got was about 54 for each player, so I imagine Carnage was probably at about 60, between 60 and 65 by the end of the game there. So, Archie, my in-game name is X the Spaniard X, same as my Twitch handle here. Missed some messages here. Rob's is Nightblood. Okay, yeah, I know Nightblood then. Although, I hadn't seen a ton of activity from him since the Gears Gauntlet tournament. Change his name to Latino Pulse. Let's see. Yeah, Sparabara Bowman is a very potent composition ace, but again, Celts, you know, I really feel like the Celts had a good answer, just Eerie didn't have the numbers. Eerie got Greeked there. Archie, you don't see me playing much. Honestly, I don't play a ton for a couple reasons. So, in terms of PvP, I'm like, at best, really low mid-tier. And so, I often end up getting my butt kicked by most of the people on the ladder. But, I have improved over the past year, that's for sure. But honestly, it just kind of comes down to time. You know, like I try to make time to cast games when I can. But in terms of playing, I play, occasionally. Just it's not as much of a priority for me as casting. I want to cast games, and because I really enjoy casting games for sure. But then also, I want to help grow the scene. So yeah, I'm in the PvP scene, just not a ton. Damn, WoW redeemed push-ups as well, so I got some push-ups from Greeky and from WoW. So I'm going to get you guys 10 each. Madlib redeeming some push-ups. Alright, I'm going to get you guys 5 each. Boo, same sibs. Yeah, I think Eerie was just a little disappointed in his play there. He got too greedy, so I just wanted to redo this matchup. It's kind of a quick game, so that's fine. Don't you think AoE isn't really going to grow, especially since AoE 4 is coming out soon too? I don't know. Yeah, I wonder if we'll like AoE 4 too. I love Age of Empires Online. I think it's always going to have a niche following. This community is very dedicated, so I think Age of Empires Online will always have a niche following at the very least. But I'd love to maybe one day for this Project Celeste to end up, almost like a Forgotten Empires type deal, where those Forgotten Empires guys ended up getting their content put in a remade version of Age of Empires 2, the HD version, the upgraded version, whatever you want to call it. And then, which then continued on into, as far as I understand, into the definitive edition, which I don't think we'll ever see a definitive edition of Age of Empires Online, simply because it's a very different game than the previous Age of Empires, because it's an MMO as well, and so there's server maintenance, I guess, with that, which I don't know. Well, obviously it's not got as big of a following as AoE 3 or AoE 2. So I don't know that Microsoft would ever try to sink money back into it. But nevertheless, I think even as this fan project develops and grows, I think Age of Empires Online is going to grow, to answer your question, Archie. Even though we've got Age of Empires 4 coming, I think Age of Empires Online is going to continue to grow. Not as much as other games, obviously. Not as much as Age of Empires 4 will be huge, but I think it will grow, especially with the Romans releasing. I think we're going to see a huge influx of people, especially if the Romans release can come while people are still at home, quarantined. Then we're going to see a huge influx. Yeah, wow, I know. Fucking small print, 10 per redeem. I got you. I'm up to 30, so I got you guys. I need video proof. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do it on stream. It's actually gonna be the first time that it's been redeemed on stream. So, wow. All right, fuck. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. About 35 is my max in one setting. So I'll get you 20, and then I'll get you 20 more later. You doubt Age of Empires Online people will like AoE 4, Madlib? That's interesting. I think the thing about Age of Empires Age of Empires Online is kind of at a disadvantage because I think I would say a higher percentage of Age of Empires Online players like all Age of Empires games compared to a relatively lower percentage of Age of Empires 2 players per se, like only play Age of Empires 2, right? Like they don't play any other Age games. Whereas I would be willing to bet a higher percentage of Age of Empires Online players play other Age games as well. Maybe not actively, but another scam stream. They said it was a gameplay trailer, Pharaoh, so I don't know. Didn't show us much though. Wow, damn it, bro, stop. Archie can't wait to get to 900 points so I can get in, discuss weird stuff. Yeah, the sheep was slowing him, which was very unfortunate for him. He got a goat snuck into his army there, so that was unfortunate. Eerie, though, keeping these spearmen up here in the top, so nice there from Eerie. Kind of a cheeky play. He's got some long swords on these Sparbara, which are actually handling those Sparbara kind of nicely. And then he's still got these spearmen up here, but I'm surprised he's not doing anything with them or you know, being active with them. I guess he's guarding the second hunt. Which Carnage should be moving to soon, although actually instead he opted to get his second town center on these berries. So actually it looks like Carnage, and I'm sorry guys, I didn't see if, actually let me see, versus berries, I don't know the stats well enough. Actually yeah, I don't know if he, I don't think he's got the berry upgrade yet, but alright, so Carnage sniffing out those units in the top. Hopefully Carnage isn't listening to the stream. Jesus, wow, bro. Alright, tell you what. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to increase the price on that shit. 50K for push-ups. Push out, pass out. Yeah. So I tell you what. Wow. Damn it. I'm a max out. All right. I'm gonna go max out, which is gonna be embarrassing because I'm trying to get back in shape, boys. I used to be able to. So previously, I would say I could have hit, and by previously I mean probably about 3 years ago, I could have hit probably between 60 and 70 push-ups in one set, you know, continuous set. But now I'm probably maxed out at like 35, which is embarrassing. PF2K, not a mod. We'll see about making you mod, PF2K. Oh, wow, I know you're a VIP. Paying your chin with honor releasing points. Yeah. I am going to have to increase the price, though. How old am I? I am 29. I just turned 29 about a month ago. PF2K is indeed a centurion of the Felix Legion. Much love to PF2K. He actually made the graphics, the new graphics for my banners in the channel description. So, super appreciative of PF2K. It's a good dude. Yeah, Madlib. The mod list is largely from my back in the old days of my stream when I first started. It's mostly family members like my brother and his fiance. Wow, you had to have removed yourself from the VIP list, bro. I swear to God, I made WoW a VIP. That's bullshit, dude. You're trolling me or something, because I know I'll put you on the VIP list. I'm gonna get you on there. Hashtag good dude. Importance discrimination. Alright, listen, y'all. Look, we got to get in this game. Look at this pincer movement from Carnage. Nice pincer movement there from Carnage. Eerie is gathering a lot of Woad Raiders on the right side here, so the Woad Raiders are going to be really nice to deal with these bowmen. That was a really nice pincer move there from Carnage, and Eerie lost a great deal of units there on the left. In fact, all of his longswords and spears he lost in that engagement, so nice pickup there from Carnage. Eerie now down to 94 population to the 140 for Carnage, so Eerie down by almost 50. It's pretty huge, 61 villagers to 60, so Eerie's still up on the villagers. Let's see if he can get some blood here, some pay dirt, as it were. No villagers gained there, or no villagers killed, I should say. Does need to get these Woad Raiders out of there. He did lose a couple Woad Raiders. If he's not careful, he's going to lose a few more Woad Raiders here. Nice volley there from Carnage. Not going to drop any Woads yet. The Woads are very fast. 9 speed, I believe. Yep, 9 speed. So, very fast Woads indeed. But Eerie, where's his army? He's so low on resources. He has very little gold, very little food. I mean, he's spending it, but where are all his resources? Once again, he went to H3, and I wonder if he went to H3 maybe a little too early. Because he's now down by 50 solid population. And Carnage making a push here. Eerie, slow to react, gonna bring in these Woad Raiders, or maybe Carnage brings some Spar Bar to the back there. Carnage realizes that there aren't really any units here in Eerie's base, so he's gonna position some Spar Bar in the back to try to protect the back of the bowman. Woad Raiders coming over here on the left, but still down by 40 population. Here comes some more Woad Raiders. Eerie maybe trying to position here for a pincer. Yeah, I'm going to either have to reduce the amount of push-ups or increase the price, or probably both. Nevertheless, I appreciate the engagement on the channel. Look at this, though. These Woad Raiders are very strong, very powerful unit here for the Celts. And these Woad Raiders, despite the low numbers, are actually decimating this army. Eerie got an incredible trade there. Now up by about 5 villagers and almost even in population. So, absolutely incredible trade there for Eerie. Eerie throwing down some markets. No markets yet for Carnage, although I do believe he scouted the markets. He did not. Eerie leaving up some goat scouts, as it were. Down comes some immortal camps here for Carnage, so that's going to be good for Carnage. Those immortals are going to be able to deal very nicely with these Woad Raiders, so like the play there from Carnage. In comes Eerie, going to try to get some economic damage going here. 600 push-ups in a row, am I right? I don't think it was that many, but I'm going to max out on push-ups for you guys, so. Maybe another option, too, would be to keep the current price on the push-ups and change it to like a 1 redeem per stream, and then change the description to like a max out. But I got you guys after this game. Carnage is going to get ticked off, though. I'm going to be like, hey, I need like 2 minutes to do some push-ups. He's going to be like, what do you mean? Go, go, go. Got to start the game now. I'm just kidding. Love you, Carnage. Nice watch post here from Eerie on either side of the map. So Eerie's got some really nice map control, but he's going to be very hard-pressed to deal with these Immortals. Actually, that Delian League helmet on the Immortals looks pretty badass, I'm not going to lie. Or, I'm sorry, Delian League weapon, I should say. The helmet that Carnage has on these Immortals looks badass. In addition to the Delian League weapon. Very cool. Yeah, Eerie now seeing that Immortals are on the field, and what's his answer going to be? Bowman. Bowman, Bowman, Bowman. As suspected, Eerie's going to now transition to Bowman. He's got some horsemen to act as a meat shield. Greeky, I appreciate that hydrate redeem, my man. I'm definitely going to need to hydrate. Wow, still bringing in the push-ups. Definitely going to have to. No, the 75 for Hoover, that's the amount of channel points it cost, not the amount of push-ups. There's no freaking way I could do 75 push-ups in one set. Yeah, Longsword Champion might be a good answer here. Archie. I do like the Woad Raiders to continue to do some harass here on the map, which he is going to briefly force Carnage off of this fortress, but now Eerie does know that that fortress is coming down. He is going to move out with his primary force here, up to 175 population to the 150 of Carnage. So Eerie, again, with that huge fight down here at his town center, was really able to turn the game around. More Immortals coming on the field, but they're going to see these bowmen, and they are going to be fairly scared of the bowmen. Some nice upgrades coming in here for Eerie as well. Nice flank there of Woad Raiders. So Eerie going for the pincer movement, but then Carnage getting the double pincer here. So kind of a two-layer sandwich, if you will. Not sure who's getting the upper hand here yet. This fortress is going to go down, though, so Eerie does need to, he is going to have to get out of here regardless, because this fortress is going to go down, and he is then going to very handily lose that engagement. So, yeah, he's going to back out here, but these Immortals are so strong that, man, yeah, I don't even know. Even without the fortress, Carnage may have won that engagement, because, again, those Immortals just are so strong. The Bowmen do have the multiplier against infantry, but, or I'm sorry, they do not have a multiplier against infantry. They just have very high DPS. Wow. I thought Celtic Bowmen had an infantry multiplier. Interesting. Interesting. 14 DPS. Interesting. Well, nevertheless, Bowmen are a good answer to Immortals, but Eerie just doesn't have a huge count of them yet. Eerie, yeah, Ace is correctly pointing out that Eerie does need to mix in some druids here as well. Yeah, with the Immortals' ranged attack, it's just the longswords would be dead meat. Huge engagement here on the fortress. It looks like Carnage may lose this fortress. These horsemen are going to take down a few Immortals. The primary force of Immortals of about 53 Immortals are going to come in. And yeah, Eerie's actually very, very dangerous here. He does have some druids now, some Elder Druids as well, so that's nice. But this is going to be really dangerous for Eerie right under this fortress. Getting caught by these Immortals. Huge volley from the Immortals. They have blotted out the sun, no doubt. Eerie losing a ton of units. I'm surprised where Eerie's population is, though. 97 villagers to the 68 of Carnage. So, actually, Eerie very heavy in terms of villager count, whereas Carnage opting for a little bit lower villager count by about 20 plus, so that he can churn out a higher army population here. I agree, Ace. Eerie would do well here to go to H4. He doesn't have the resources for it, though. He's just kind of trying to hang in there. And in fact, Carnage also mixing in some Asabara champion. So that's going to be nice to help deal with the bowmen. Very heavy on the horsemen here. Eerie's going very heavy on the horsemen. Again, has a couple druids in the mix, so pretty nice there. But Carnage just has so many Immortals that I don't know if Eerie has enough to deal with this. They are almost dead even in terms of population. Eerie is getting out some Rams as well. So it looks like Eerie is going to look to maybe cause some damage on the left side there. But Carnage just pushing straight into the base of Eerie. He's not queuing up any units, so he needs to queue up some reinforcements. There we go. Gonna queue up some Asabara. And look at this. These Immortals are just eating through these horsemen. And now the bowmen are in a lot of danger. And wow. Immortals still at 53 Immortals. Carnage hardly lost anything. That's incredible. This town center is gonna go down. And that might be a GG, honestly. Eerie might call the GG here. He doesn't have enough wood to throw down the town center again. He's now down to 160 cap. This is not looking good for Eerie. Man, this is huge here from Carnage. Carnage about to go up 2-0 against Eerie here. Man, this is a good push here from Carnage, but he is starting to lose some immortals now. Looks like Eerie is going pretty heavily into the bowman, and let's check out some upgrades. He did get a pierce damage upgrade, so that perhaps is helping Eerie out here. These druids are also helping the cause, but Carnage still near max population. I think I may have missed something with some rams over here on the left, so sorry about that. Carnage is going to try to look for some trouble over here on the left. Eerie did turn down a town center again. This time opting. Carnage does have his market line set up here, and here's the ram. So this ram is going to come over here to these markets. Carnage is going to send in some Asabara. He does see the ram. Meanwhile, Eerie sending in some horsemen of his own. So both players getting a little bit of raiding done. Carnage actually sticking to this fortress. Eerie bringing in some villagers to repair the fortress. We'll see how that goes. Check back in here in a minute. Carnage trying to deal with these horsemen in his base. The horsemen getting a little bit of economic damage for their troubles. This fortress barely is going to be saved. Eerie did lose a few villagers. Carnage now at 96 villagers to 77, so the script was completely flipped here, folks. Eerie was at 90 plus villagers, whereas Carnage was only at 70. But now it's completely flipped, and Carnage is nearing 100 villagers, and Eerie is sub 80. So, interesting flip there economically. We'll see how that pays off for our players. Carnage now going to turn out some mounted archers to try to help deal with these horsemen. Not a bad choice there. Eerie did get one market, is now going to bring in some horsemen to try to deal some damage directly to these caravans, and Carnage has not reacted to this yet. One thing about the Immortals are they are fairly slow. Here comes the ram for Carnage as well, so this fortress is now rebuilt. So Eerie really investing heavily into this fortress. He does recognize that it is helping protect this town center over here on the right. And suddenly Eerie really doing nicely in terms of repelling this invasion from Carnage. Eerie also popping the Rite of Damara, which, or Damara, whatever you want to say, which is reducing the training time by about 20%, which helped him very quickly resupply his army. So nice play there from Eerie. Carnage still sending an Asabara over here on the left to try to get some damage where possible. Carnage also rebuilding his market on the left side, so kind of opting for a less than optimal market. Really doesn't have a choice at this moment. He really has got to get the market back up to continue his gold income, especially given the fact that Eerie has a slight advantage in terms of map control, although Carnage has wrestled some control back. Siege Workshop down for Carnage as well, so he's been churning out some rams. Eerie trying to push in. He's going to run into these mounted archers. Huge volley there from the bowman, but nice flank of Asabara here from Carnage. Very nice flank from Carnage here, splitting his forces. Eerie really needs to get his horsemen back on these Asabara. These Asabara are just chewing through these bowmen. The Immortals are slowly dwindling for Carnage, but Carnage getting the upper hand in this fight, and he may just take it outright. Down go these bowmen. Eerie still trying to stream in bowman reinforcements, but he's lost his entire force. Although we have stayed even on population. So Eerie doing a nice job of keeping his population up. Carnage going to see what damage he can do with these Asabara. little bit of balance discussion going on here. Down goes the Fortress for Carnage. So that's a nice pickup there for Eerie. He's got a trio of rams there. The Celtic ram, a little less tanky than the other civilizations' rams, but they are a little bit less expensive. Or do I have that backwards? No. Yes, should be right. Eerie's still investing resources into this fortress to keep it up. He does recognize that he needs to try to protect this town center over here. Nice engagement going on. Eerie getting the upper hand here once again. So suddenly with these armory upgrades, Eerie is taking a commanding lead. He's now up by almost 50 population. About 40 plus. So really nice there from Eerie. That just shows the difference that armory upgrades can make, guys. Don't forget your armory upgrades. Hugely important. Eerie still trying to press the issue here. And Carnage is a bit on his back foot. He doesn't really have an answer to this. And in fact, he is very low on gold. That's going to be huge. Yeah, that's a GG. I was just about to say. Carnage is gold starved, and I don't know if he's going to be able to recover. And in fact, he agreed. And so he throws in the towel. GG. Yeah, Carnage lost his market line over here on the right. And that new market line was just not quite up to snuff. So that was an interesting flip in terms of villagers, though, guys. Eerie was ahead pretty significantly in terms of villagers, and then you see right here, kind of towards the last third of the game, just a complete flip. Got a little bit more even towards the end there, but it's interesting turn of events. So look at some technologies here. Eerie outgathered by about 8,000 resources there. Not surprising, but let's look at the techs. Yeah, Eerie had a 6 technology lead on Carnage there, so Eerie really able to deal with those immortals once he got those army upgrades. Let me update our score here and see if I can get some push-ups in real quick before Carnage gets mad for delay. Alright, guys, so let me get set up here. This is the first time I've done push-ups on stream, so whoops, that's not what we wanted. That's not what we wanted. That's what we wanted. Alright, let me update this real quick. It is now 1-1. Alright, you guys should be able to see... Oh, wait, whoops. Right over there near the table. So I'm going to get some in real quick. Gotta get that hydration. Hydrate, Greeky. Turned out 40 for you guys there. Stop. Alright. Alright, turned out 40 real quick. We'll get some more in a little bit. I think, wow, it's got me up to probably fucking 90 or something. Alright. Getting into game number 3 here, guys. Looks like Eerie has changed to Egyptian. So this is a pretty cool matchup. Egyptians versus Persians. Carnage sticking with the Persians. And we are going to be on my favorite map. Treasure Island. All right. So Treasure Island, Egyptians versus Persians. So an interesting matchup, for sure. Rex G in with the push-ups. Mad Lib in with the hydrate. I can do a hydrate. Need to do a hydrate. I actually need to drastically increase my water consumption during the day, because I realized today, until I was done with work for the day, that I had not drank anything all day, which is not good. Need to get some water. Alright, redeemed customized vanity gear. El Guardo helms on your villagers, please. I got you, P. I got you. Although I'm not playing right now, so you guys won't be able to see it on mine anyway. But I will get some El Guardo helms. In fact, I will buy them on Vanity Island after this match. Okay. Boys, I do appreciate the push-up redemptions, but I want to be true to my word. And at the rate you guys are redeeming, I cannot churn out 10 per redemption. So I'm going to have to either lower redemptions or... Actually, you know what? I just need to stop being a pussy and increase my output. That's the bottom line, gentlemen. Alright, so barracks down for the Persian player. Late barracks down for Eerie, though. Eerie going to H2 first instead. And Carnage is going to be able to take advantage of this. He does have Sparbara streaming across the map. Carnage does know, well, I don't know if he knew before. I assume he knew before that Eerie did not have his racks up yet. So, this is actually nice for Carnage here. Look at this play, though, from Eerie. Oh, my goodness. Barely saving that villager by pulling off the Priestess of Ra just in time to heal that villager to save it. Very nice play there from Eerie. Carnage still pressing the issue, though. He's smelling blood here. But Carnage also scouted the coastline and saw that there was no dock yet for Eerie. So Carnage is going to take advantage of that, throw down a dock of his own. The nice thing about going to H2 first for the Egyptian player, though, is that right about the time he hits H2, he's going to be able to finish his racks and start churning out some axemen. So very cool play there from Eerie to go for that early H2 into a racks, into axemen, to be able to deal with these Sparbara. Carnage heading to a second hunt. Does have a dock down. Going to get a fishing boat. Carnage just wanted to get a little bit of damage here in the wood line, but Eerie able to get his axeman in there just in time. Carnage, if he's not careful, might lose a Sparbara or two. Loses one. So Eerie, nice micro there to focus down that low health low health Sparbara. Meanwhile, Eerie's almost got enough for his second town center, so that should be coming down shortly. Carnage is now in H2. He's getting down in archery range first, as opposed to a town center, so interesting choice there. In fact, Carnage just now starting to gather from stone. Just now throwing down a storehouse, so very interesting choice there from Carnage. Not going for that early town center. Instead opting for the archery range and a little bit more fishing economy. Second town center coming down for Eerie. Carnage keeping his scout really close to this coastline for Eerie just to try to get a glimpse of any dock that might come down for Eerie so he can be prepared. Eerie trying to harass a little bit in the wood line now of Carnage. Return the favor from earlier, but Carnage having none of that. While calling for the mass racks. PF2K would like to see that. Yeah, that would be interesting. Mass racks and go for Spearman champ, Axeman champ. Who knows? We'll see. Carnage now investing a second dock onto the water. Because again, Carnage knows that his opponent has not yet gone for a dock. And in fact, it looks like Eerie honestly might just be content to not go for the water, which is an interesting choice, especially given the fact that the Persian galley can be somewhat of a weak ship compared to the trireme, although it is a bit cheaper. Second town center coming down for Carnage, and he's putting it in a pretty nice position here for a potential market line, in addition to protecting this gold mine and a tree line. So, looking good there for Carnage. Meanwhile, Carnage still just very wary of a potential dock play here from Eerie. In fact, sending his scout to the kind of middle portion of the coastline there, making sure Eerie doesn't go for a sneaky play with a mid-coastline dock. Both players have now kind of fallen back to their base and are a little bit reluctant to go for any further aggression. Looks like both players are just kind of leaning in to their chosen compositions and trying to mass up some population here. Speaking of which, fairly even overall in population. Eerie has a slight advantage right now in terms of what's in queue. 32 villagers for Carnage to 31 for Eerie. Eerie is now population capped. He's got a couple of houses coming down, so that's good. Yeah, pretty much almost even on villagers, slightly there for Carnage. Eerie moving out again with some slingers and axemen. Interesting. Okay, so Eerie opting to go for the Egyptian slinger, which is not a unit you see very much, folks. Not a unit you see very much. But these axemen are going to do nicely against the Sparbara, and the slingers are going to be able to counter the bowmen. However, the bowmen just have so much DPS, and of course Eerie also does not have the numbers here, so he's actually bleeding some units as he tries to retreat. Carnage trying to chase him down there, get some value. Carnage just has the numbers right now in terms of the military, which is interesting because he's lower in population. I think the composition was just a bit too scary for Eerie at this point. Eerie now once again looking to move across the map here, see what kind of trouble he can cause. Streaming in some more axemen and some slingers. So far 3 racks. Now down goes a couple stables here for Eerie, so it looks like Eerie is looking to maybe bring out some camels. will be especially nice to have camels to help deal with these Asabara, which will very shortly become Asabara champion once Carnage heads to H3. Neither player headed to H3 quite yet. Let's see, do we have an armory down? No armory yet for Eerie. Whereas Carnage, double archer range, triple stables, no armory yet either, so neither player getting an armory yet. Carnage going to defend his base here on the left, and Eerie once again still just does not quite have enough firepower yet to be able to deal with this force from Carnage. I don't know exactly what Eerie's going to choose to do here. It's very obvious he intends to begin transitioning some camels into his composition, which he does now do. And he's going to try to send these over here to deal with these Asabara coming across the map. These Asabara might be able to pick up something for their troubles. But while we were waiting, it looks like Eerie did sneak a sneaky, cheeky dock onto the water. He's going to lose a couple villagers here, but he's going to be able to get his camels onto these Asabara, and these camels deal pretty nicely with the Asabara. 10 speed to, should be 11 speed for the camels, and the camels have that multiplier against cavalry. So it's going to be enough to scare Carnage away there with those Asabara. Meanwhile, back at the base of Carnage, kind of towards the second town center, Eerie's not really liking what he sees with his primary force here. Recognizes that despite the fact that he does have some nice counters, you know, the Axemen against the Sparbara, Slingers against the Bowmen, he does not have the numbers. Carnage does have some Asabara mixed in, as well as some Sparbara champion. Got the Sparbara champion upgrade, I should say. Eerie going to move in some more land units to try to deal with this dock. And it looks like Eerie has not yet invested into any actual naval units. I must have missed a water battle because this galley is missing some health. Or no, it looks like Carnage built the galley to try to deal with these land units, but lost some health from the land units. But it's not going to be enough to stop these docks from coming down, so now I imagine we'll see Eerie begin to invest into some ships. Perhaps some fishing ships. Perhaps a warship or two to secure Carnage's coastline. So suddenly, Eerie getting some nice map control. He's going to see this watch post. I'm sure he'll knock it down real quick. Eerie building a forward watch post himself. He is going to spot, though, that Carnage is on the move. And in fact, Carnage has a quite sizable group of military units here. And from the looks of it, I believe, well, I was going to say the Persian player might be a bit more pop efficient. Perhaps in terms of raw damage output, more pop efficient. Eerie is getting a couple upgrades here. He has hit H3 now. He did build that Temple of Set right here, so he is now in H3, and as Ace mentioned in the chat, he's getting some armory upgrades, so that's really going to help him in this endeavor. He does have his axemen onto these spears in the front, getting the camels around back onto this Asabara, and eventually onto the bowmen. The axemen are chewing through the infantry for the Persian player. Eerie also bringing in a couple of priestesses of Ra, I should say. And these slingers are also going to be able to deal some nice damage onto those bowmen. So Eerie, nice engage here. Really lured Carnage into his base. Got a nice flank with the camels. And microed the fight really well. Down goes pretty much the entire force for Carnage. And now Carnage forced to try to rebuild his entire army here. Some nice little opening in the cliffs there. Very minuscule hole for Eery to get up on the cliffs. And he is now overlooking the extended portion of Carnage's base. Carnage throwing down some immortal camps. So he's going to be getting some immortals out here. These immortals are going to deal quite nicely with the axemen and really the slingers as well. But these camels are so fast. Eery going to be able to get some damage done here on the right side. Going to get a couple storehouses, perhaps a couple villagers over there on that gold mine. But now Carnage is transitioning into some mounted archers, which are going to be really nice to help deal with these camels. The mounted archers have similar mobility. One less speed than the camel, but they do have that cavalry multiplier and the ranged attack, which gives them the ability to kite in the hands of a good player who's able to micro well. And Carnage is certainly that. So Carnage really transitioning into this Age 3 Persian composition with the immortals, with the mounted archers. Meanwhile, Eery has not really transitioned into much of an Age 3 composition for the Persians, or I'm sorry, for the Egyptians. Does not have Camel Rider champion yet. That did get Axeman champion, so that's nice for him there. But no Slinger champion yet either. Eery trying to get some damage done. He is getting some nice armory upgrades. So those are going to help. Mounted archers trying to get some damage down onto these camels, and it is going to force those camels to retreat, especially with the rest of the force here for Carnage behind it. In comes some slingers. It looks like this may be a sacrifice here. I think Eery probably has some ideas of transitioning his unit composition. He is investing in a lot of Axeman champion. And yeah, he is just going to sacrifice these slingers. So I believe he's wanting to make way for some more units. And I was going to say earlier, actually, I was wondering if perhaps it would be in the way of the Chariot Archer. And indeed it is. The Chariot Archer, perhaps Egypt's best Age 3 answer to the Mounted Archer from the Persians. Simply given the mobility and the ability to kite. You're trying to push in a little bit here. Carnage trying to get over here to defend. Could possibly be too late. A lot of damage already done here for Eery. Carnage is able to push Eery out of his base, though. This Age 3 composition here for Carnage, especially as he gets upgrades, are going to be very nice. Now, Eery is able to deal a lot of damage here to the markets. Does bring down one market. Carnage rebuilding right back where it was. And Eery is going to lose those camels, so... Carnage now pushing into Eerie's base. And this could be a potentially nice push here for Carnage. Carnage does have a very nice unit composition here, and these army upgrades are coming in for Carnage as well, getting a little bit more pierce damage here for his Immortals and his Bowmen. He did move some Asabara, some Asabara over here to the left as well, dealing a good amount of damage to Eerie's caravans. And if Eerie's not careful, he could become gold starved quite quickly, because these Asabara are just running free and rampant over the economy over here on the left for Eerie. Eerie is able to repel this primary force here. Nice, getting some elephants onto the field. So these elephants are going to be pretty nice against these ranged units. These chariot archers also are able to deal a nice amount of DPS. But again, just still having trouble dealing with these Asabara. More caravans going down. This is just terrible for Eerie. Bringing over some chariot archers now to try to clean up the last of these Asabara. But again, just so many caravans lost there. So very unfortunate for Eerie. Going for some forward walls. So that's kind of funny. So now what do these players do? Carnage sticking with his Immortal Asabara, Mounted Archer kind of composition here. Eerie does have an elephant, still getting some Axeman Champion. Got more chariot archers on the field. Just gonna send over some camels to try to deal some more economic damage here to Carnage. Carnage going to bring in some mounted archers, though, to deal with that. Carnage is down by about 30 population, though, so that's not good. More if you don't count what's in queues. So Carnage looking a little scary here for him. Down by about 10 villagers. Not a crazy huge deal, but could be. Eerie staying pretty much maxed out at 180. Bringing in some Axemen over here on the right side as well, dealing some damage to the caravans. Even has a Priestess of Ra over here, so kind of nice there from Eerie. Eerie just trying to pressure Carnage from all sides, left, center, and right. So nice pressure here for Eerie onto Carnage. Carnage does have some pretty important armory upgrades coming in, though, getting some pierce resist. So that's going to help him against these chariot archers. These chariot archers are a very big source of Eerie's DPS at this point. Carnage slowly working his way back up to 180 population. So now at 180 with what's in queue. Does have a couple rams queued up as well, so that's pretty interesting. Could see a ram push over here on the left side. Eerie gonna fall back, though, because he does not like what he sees in terms of this defense from Carnage. A lot of mounted archers onto the field. Got some Immortals behind them, so a little bit too much for the chariot archers to deal with. Eerie bringing in some more Axeman Champion. I thought I saw another elephant come down on the field somewhere, but or at least another elephant was queued up earlier. Perhaps he lost his other elephant before, so perhaps that's what I'm seeing. Carnage now pushing forward with his Immortals and his Rams. Where are his cavalry units? Here they are. Cavalry and ranged archers, I should say, or cavalry archers, I should say. Gonna push in and break down a couple proxy Raxes. Eerie trying to stick at 180 population, jostle for position here. Try to lure Carnage in to this fortress, and I imagine he'll probably take an engagement under this fortress. But he's trying to position because, despite the fact that Eerie does have the defender's advantage, Actually, Carnage had a nice choke point here to be able to move in. And actually, Eerie is going to allow Carnage to get this fortress uncontested. He is going to rebuild a fortress just a few clicks away there, but Carnage suddenly pushing really hard into Eerie's base here. And I don't know. What is Eerie's response? Eerie is in age 4 now, though, so that's going to be really nice for Eerie. It could be bad timing in terms of the loss of resources, because as you can see, Eerie is now pretty low on food and gold, but he does now have access to those age 4 champion upgrades. And in fact, he is going for Chariot Archer champion, getting out some more army upgrades as well. But again, was it the right time? He's also able to go to 200 population, whereas Carnage's max is still 180. But Carnage's army is just so strong. Can Carnage get the second fortress? He does not. Down goes both rams. Carnage still trying to hang on to this engagement here, but it looks like it is starting to go in Eerie's favor, especially as these Chariot Archers continue to get churned out here. And yeah, Carnage is going to be forced to retreat. He's down to sub 130 population, whereas Eerie is almost maxed out. Alright, so Carnage did fall back to his base here. He's trying to regroup, repopulate. Eerie, though, again, still pretty much maxed out at 200 population. So now Eerie possibly going to look to get some blood over here. And very cool little play here from Eerie. Eerie actually never really did anything with his dock, and despite the fact that he won the water, he just kind of denied Carnage the ability to gather fish from the sea, chicken of the sea, we should say. But now going for a catapult trireme. You saw it here first, folks, in Spaniard's Colosseum. The Egyptian catapult trireme is on the field. Nice flank here from Carnage, though, in this engagement at his base, bringing in some Asabara to this backline of the Chariot Archers. So it's going to force the Chariot Archers to kind of pull back a little bit here, try to kite a little bit. Down goes the elephant. Still only counts as 1. Don't forget. A little Lord of the Rings reference there for you fans. And check this out. The catapult trireme going to be able to deal some nice damage to the market. And Carnage is all of a sudden like, what the hell, man? You saw his cursor go over here to his markets, and he was not sure where the damage was coming from. But now he notices that it's the catapult trireme. So Carnage kind of wondering maybe what to do over there on the right hand side for his markets, because he does not have an immediate answer. Meanwhile, he's sending in some Asabara to try to deal some damage to the market line of Eerie as well, but Eerie a little bit slow to respond, but he did have a couple camels shadowing those Asabara as they came in, and those camels are just so nice that they were able to deal a decent amount of damage, stall a little bit for these Chariot Archers to come in and deal the killing blow to the Asabara raid from Carnage. And now the Chariot Archers are in Carnage's caravan line. The markets are down as well. Carnage is rebuilding a market over here, perhaps just outside the range. Although, actually, if Eerie was to move to this corner, he would be able to hit that market still. But again, a lot of damage down on the caravans here from Eerie's Chariot Archers. But he did fall back a little bit. It looks like Eerie's sending in a couple sacrifices, looking to make some room for some more population, more camel riders, camel rider champion to be specific, more Chariot Archer champion, more upgrades coming in for Eerie as well with desert conditioning. So that's going to be nice for him. Meanwhile, Carnage investing in some more battering rams. They are nice tanks in a big fight. And of course, they can deal significant amounts of building damage once they're able to get to buildings. And Carnage is actually going to slowly get the upper hand in this engagement. It's going to push Eerie back a little bit. But nevertheless, Carnage is still significantly down in population. And actually is going to call the GG, because Eerie noticed exactly what I was talking about with this range for the trireme. Was able to knock that market down, and Carnage realized that he was completely out of market options. He did have a gold mine here. It was almost out, but he was completely starved for gold. Not able to resupply his army. GG. GG indeed. Pretty back and forth game there. Nice game from both of our players, but ultimately Eerie able to get the upper hand, able to destroy those markets. And yeah, pretty significant technology lead there for Eerie as well. Look at that, 32 technologies to the 20 of Carnage, so up by 12 technologies. Nicely played there from Eerie. And Carnage, ultimately, you know, losing the water, it didn't really mean anything for quite a while because Eerie didn't do much with it. It did deny him that food economy on the water, again, as I mentioned earlier, but ultimately, in the end, ended up being his doom in the form of a catapult trireme. Pretty cool there from Eerie to get that catapult trireme on. So, let me know what you guys think. Eerie takes ended up being a best of 3, 2-1. Let me know what you guys thought of the series. Oh, Carnage says crash, so maybe another game. So maybe Carnage gonna get another game here for us. GG. Madlib requesting Norse. I would if I could, Madlib, but I don't want to piss Carnage off. Let me get some more. Actually, it looks like we're gonna still get some games, guys. So stick around. Pretty nice there. But let me update our score here. Eerie is now up 2-1. And let me also get some additional push-ups in for you guys. I keep scooting my chair the wrong way. I don't know why. I'm going to get some more hydrate in as well. Alright. Knocked out 30 more for you guys. Knocked out 30 more push-ups for you guys. But as you can see, my new puppy, she got in the way. This is my new pup. I got her about a week and a half ago. She is a border collie. Her name is Annabelle. Annie for short. She's been a sleepy puppy today. Let's get down there. Alright, let's get this next game going. So now we're up to 70 push-ups. I don't know how many Wout redeemed, but I hate them. No, I don't hate them. I really need to get my push-up number up. Alright, so let's see if we can get another game. Looks like it's going to be Egyptians and Persians again. Actually, while Carnage is BRB, I'm going to take the dog out real quick. Be right back. Hey, Hanny. No. Hey. No.
Are you not entertained?
Sit. Sit.
Are you not entertained?
What's that, guys? Yes. My man. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Looks like Eerie changed to Greek. Nice. Yeah, Ace, what the fuck, man? What the fuck, man? Oof. Did we get another crash from Carnage? Looks like Carnage maybe had a crash here, gentlemen. So that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed. Thank you also, Rohani, for the follow. Yeah, bro. I don't know why you hadn't followed either, my man. Also, did it play the sound for you guys? When you guys followed, did you guys hear the sound? Yeah, Carnage disconnected. Whoops. Carnage got kicked. So we're gonna get Carnage back in here. Looks like his game crashed again. Eery is now up 3-1, right? Yeah. Because he lost the first one, and then one Celts, one is Egyptians. It's still 2-1. Actually, I lost count now of the score. I feel like it's still 2-1. Alright, let's see if we can do this again here. It's going to be Mountain Crossing. The Greeks versus the Persians. Alright, Carnage is in the game this time, so we should be good to go. Yeah, Greek versus Persians is a pretty good matchup. Both players going for the fast dock. You know, age 2, you've got Greeks with their anti-infantry and the Hephaestus, the Toxotes, the Ceres. So Greeks have a very rock, paper, scissors kind of style, whereas the Persians is a little bit more interesting. You know, the bowmen are good counters to infantry. The Asabara and Sparbar are both decent counters to ranged units. Not a ton of anti-cavalry except for the spearmen for the Persian player in age 2, but their Greek player, you know, the Sarasopheroi, are not... They're great anti-ranged. They're not a great cavalry unit overall, but they are great anti-ranged. So it's a pretty interesting matchup between Greek and Persian. So we'll see what happens here. terms of a proxy dock, there's a small little opening there, but it's not a great one for a proxy dock. Might be able to slip a unit right in that gap, but I don't think so. Meanwhile, Carnage actually does have a pretty decent opening for a proxy dock. Carnage decently open for a proxy dock. Both players going for the neutral pawn, though. So we'll see which player gets out enough navy first. It looks like Eerie's going to get out the first trireme. So perhaps Carnage going for a bit of a fake out there, or no, actually Carnage going for a second dock. So very gutsy from Carnage. Carnage actually just now hitting H2, so Eerie hitting H2 much faster than Eerie. Or I'm sorry, Eerie hitting H2 much faster than Carnage, and he does see this second dock as well. So Carnage now actually is not going to be able to win this water, it looks like. Yeah, so Carnage has lost this water. Now looking to transition to land. He does have the stables down. Not much else going on yet, though. He's going to get some Asabara out. Yeah, Eerie has definitely won this northern pond. So he's going to be able to get this dock down. And look at this. Eerie, you cheeky son of a bitch. Proxy dock indeed. Yeah, a bit of an imbalanced map actually for Carnage, because Carnage did not have the proxy dock potential like Eerie did, but he does have now some Asabara in the base of Eerie, so all of a sudden actually he is getting some nice raiding done. And Eerie just now getting a racks up to get some spearmen out. So Carnage should be able to deal a good little bit of pressure here. He is behind by about 5 villagers, mostly probably because these fishing boats are getting pummeled. And Eerie is able to produce fishing boats uninhibited, and in fact even builds a fishing boat on his opponent's pond. So Eerie actually now has control of all 3 waters on Mountain Crossing. So pretty insane play there from Eerie. Will he be able to translate it into a victory? Perhaps. Ace predicting Carnage, but so far it's looking pretty strong for Eerie here. Second town center down for Eerie now as well. Carnage did get his second town center already up here in the north. Now taking control of some resources here in this kind of area to the north. Carnage still roaming the countryside of Eerie's base here with his Asabara. Might be able to get a little bit of damage done again. Maybe deny this archery range, and indeed he does. These spearmen are going to come in and push the Asabara off. Does lose one Asabara, so... But yeah, this is very unfortunate for Carnage, because now he does not have his own water. He has none of the water, none of the food economy from the water, and in fact also lost control of really his coastline. Really, he's not going to be able to gather from this gold mine unless he builds some towers. And as you can see, he had to transition his villagers kind of more northward on his tree line. So very, very big get there from Eerie. Honestly, it's going to be difficult for Carnage to deal with. And as you can see, actually, Carnage really low on gold. He needs to maybe transition some gatherers to gold. He's got 15 food gatherers, only 6 gold gatherers. He's got plenty of gold mines to choose from. Armory coming down here for Carnage. Still trying to harass with these Asabara as much as possible. Get plenty of value out of the Asabara. As much as possible, anyway. Carnage trying to do something to get back into this matchup here. He is pretty significantly behind at this point, and actually, unfortunately, for him, these berries are suddenly being denied as well. Down goes a villager there. Oh my goodness, down goes 3 villagers. Oh, goodness, Carnage. Oh, man, so unfortunate for Carnage there, losing this water. And I'm not going to make excuses for Carnage. He got beat here, but it was unfortunate for him that the map was a little bit unbalanced in terms of the proxy dock. But you got to be able to defend against the proxy dock, you know. You gotta be ready for it. And in fact, Eerie even building the wall to try to defend against any land push here from Carnage. So Carnage, I'm not sure what he's gonna do here. He is back up in terms of gold production, so that's nice for him. Eerie finally throwing down some walls to try to deal with these Asabara raids. Carnage still has a couple Asabara inside of his land there. Eerie's land, that is. Carnage building a nice little watch post. Gathering up some bowmen. So these bowmen are going to be really nice against the spearmen and even the Toxotes. Especially with some good micro from Carnage, which we know Carnage will produce very good micro indeed. I'm surprised Eerie hasn't deleted this trireme yet. Maybe just wants to be prepared for a sneaky take back from Carnage. Carnage on the move. So we're going to see if he can cause some trouble here. Ace, I wouldn't call it completely balanced. I'd say it was a little unbalanced in terms of the sneaky dock potential. But nevertheless, like I said, again, you know, Carnage has just got to be able to defend against that proxy dock, you know. So it's definitely his own fault for not being able to defend against it, or for not doing a good enough job of defending against it. Carnage did destroy the walls down here and actually denied the walls to the north as well. So Eerie actually a little bit behind now in terms of the land. Pretty even populations as well. Eerie actually did go to H3 as well. Eerie probably felt safe, you know, behind owning all 3 waters. Probably felt safe to economically head to H3. And indeed, he does have a nice bank of resources behind this. It's just a matter of getting caught up in terms of the army population. Carnage, 48 villagers to Eerie's 51, so pretty even in terms of villager count. Eerie starting to take the lead in terms of overall population and therefore military population. Carnage did pick up a lot of villager kills indeed. Nice volley there from Carnage. In come the Persian bowmen, blotting out the sun for the Greeks. Here come the Greek hoplites. We shall see. Are these few Greek hoplites, are they Spartan or are they Athenian? Athenian they do appear. These Persian arrows are indeed decimating the Greek army. Down goes the Greeks. Carnage doing a nice job of taking advantage of this lead on the land. And suddenly has a population lead by about 20. Actually, more like almost 30. Including what's in queue, so very nicely done there from Carnage. You know, Carnage, if there was anyone in this game that was capable of returning from this, it would be Carnage. So, seeing some nice play here from Carnage. Carnage pushing in here. Prodromo's on the field, Peltast's on the field, Hoplite's on the field, so Eerie very much has a nice counter to the Persian unit composition. It's just a matter of the numbers. Eerie just does not have the numbers at this point. Carnage, however, a little bit hesitant to fully commit. And indeed, perhaps the reason is that he suddenly has a huge problem on his hands. Look at this cheeky play from Eerie. Proxy dock into proxy siege workshop. Holy smack. Holy macaroni. Look at that. 4 rams. I wasn't even prepared. I couldn't even see it on the minimap. Insane. Insane. Carnage now has got a decision to make. What does he do? Does he push in? He doesn't. It looks like he's just completely surrendered his base. Is this GG? Oh my goodness. Cheeky play from Eerie. Carnage, what does he do? He needs to push in with his army, do something. Down goes the ram. This town center is half dead. Was able to get some damage on these buildings up here. Carnage has practically nothing. He's rebuilding his houses as quickly as he can. And he's rebuilding his military production facilities as well. And so bizarre is this game that Carnage's main base is essentially now in the middle of the map. Ace says he saw that coming. I doubt it. You said another sneaky dock. You didn't say a sneaky engineering workshop or a sneaky siege workshop. That's what I'm looking for. But look at this. Eerie is now got the numbers and suddenly actually may be able to beat this army from Carnage. Carnage has lost his meat shield. He does have almost 60 bowmen behind this. And actually the bowmen are enough to kind of turn Eerie away. Those Sparbara, bless their souls, they died, but their sacrifice was not in vain. They did delay long enough for the bowmen to get enough DPS out onto Eerie's force that Eerie was forced back. And actually Carnage is now, he's somewhat stabilized. That's incredible play from Carnage. 66 villagers to 67, so still pretty much even on villager count. Absolutely incredible play there from Carnage, but it was a crazy move there for Eerie. In fact, Eerie's still streaming in a couple of rams. Still had that one leftover ram and got another ram as well. Carnage did try to send some Sparabara, but it was a little bit too late. This ram's going to come in on this town center. Going to bring in some villagers to try to repair it. Can Eerie get it? These Sparabara are slowly trying to bring down this ram. Trireme shooting from the shore. Naval on land on siege battle here. Desperately trying to repair the town center, but oh, gonna get one more shot. Down goes the town center. Nice play there from Eerie. 2 rams were enough despite the efforts of Carnage. Now suddenly, what is Carnage's move? He's looking a little weird, looking a little interesting, building a storehouse on these berries. I have no idea what his plan was there, but Eerie is going to see it. He does have some guard towers up. So Carnage maybe trying to go for something a little cheeky. Carnage maybe should think about taking the southern part of the map, but yeah, that's a little bit too difficult to recover from. Going to call it GG. Wow. Interesting game, guys. Interesting game. Yeah, that was Really funny, cheeky play there from Eerie and Carnage. He did his darndest to stay in it, but ultimately was not able to. Outgathered really significantly. Triple the technologies as well. Wow. All right, give me 1 second, guys.
Are you not entertained?
All right. GG, guys. Let's see about the...
Are you not entertained?
BBA Cog, thanks for the follow, my friend. Is it not playing the sound? Can't tell. Oh, I bet it's because I don't have... Wait, what is happening? What did my... Thanks for the follow, BBA Cog. Get a game, my man. I would grab you a game if I was not streaming, or I'm sorry, if I was not casting. I got you on the next, though. Got you on the next. Get you a game with BBA Cog. Guys, let me figure out what happened with my... What in the world? Oh, I think I was... There we go. There we go. That'll do. That'll do quite nicely. Let's update the score. And also need to see about...
Are you not entertained?
Entertained. Alright. Yeah, I don't know if it's playing the follower alert. Will someone tell me in chat if when BBA Cog followed, if it played Are You Not Entertained? That sound I just played. Please let me know. But BBA Cog, thanks for the follow and thanks for the redemption of Get a Game. I got you a game. Next time I'm on, actually I may be on in a little bit. I gotta go grab some dinner after this game. Take my dog out, that kind of stuff. Alright, so getting into this matchup, they're replaying that matchup, Greek versus Persian on Mountain Crossing. This map seems, well, we'll let it play out. Carnage maybe has, well, actually it's interesting. Very interesting, actually, because the wood line, right here kind of is going to force Carnage to kind of come in this way, and Eerie would be able to see it, so if he goes for the proxy dock, whereas Carnage is pretty well protected against a proxy dock. Eerie does have this opening, but this, like I said, this tree line right here is going to cause Carnage to, if he does want to go for a proxy dock, he'd have to come right through here, and Eerie would be able to see it and snuff it out, so should be fine. Dock coming down here in the southern lake, though, for Carnage. Very intriguing for Carnage. Opts not to go for the dock on his own lake and instead goes for the southern lake first. Very nice play there from Carnage. Oh, you just clicked on the pop-up. Okay. Eerie is gathering pretty heavily from stone, so looks like Eerie is trying to get ready for a second town center pretty soon after going to H2, although he doesn't have the wood either, so I'm a bit confused by having 6 villagers on stone. Not very much like Eerie. Usually Eerie tries to go for a smaller amount of stone gatherers. Now a dock down for Carnage on his own lake. He does have pretty decent control of the southern lake. He does have, very smartly, has his one of his fishing boats over here on this far fish. Obviously, you want to gather as close as possible to your drop-off point in most cases, but I do like this play from Carnage over here with this fishing boat to be able to scout. It's working, but at the same time, it's scouting to see if Eerie tries to throw a dock down there. So, cool little play there from Carnage. Neither player has a Rax yet, so going to be interesting to see what our players do here. Eerie gathered... Okay, there's the second town center. I was about to say, where'd his stone go? But there's the second town center coming down here in the south. Oh shoot, I forgot to, I promised P redeemed a El Guardo, or a Vanity. PF2K redeemed a Vanity selection. He chose El Guardo helmets for my villagers, so I'm gonna, if you guys will remind me to buy the El Guardo helmets from, actually I may already have, no, I have an El Guardo weapon. I don't think I have a helmet, so I'm going to throw some El Guardo helmets on my villagers. PF2K is an admirer of the El Guardo clan, if I'm not mistaken. Eerie's actually going to notice that Carnage has pretty decent control of this southern lake over here. So his villager is not going to build a dock, but the villager is still roaming around. So I'm going to be interested to see what Eerie does with this villager. Maybe, yeah, okay, I was gonna say maybe going around close there, so he's gonna go right back down in this corner, try to throw a dock down. So both players just being real sneaky, trying to outmaneuver the other in a game of wits. No real fighting yet in this game, just all about positioning so far, so very interesting. Although couple stables coming down for Carnage, so it looks like Carnage is going to try to get onto the land, get some boots on the ground, as it were. A barracks down for Eerie, so he's turning out some spearmen. Looks like he's trying to prepare for some Asabara pressure here coming from our Persian player. PF2K, thank you very much. Lovely casting, by the way. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So, in this fairly weird game so far, who will gain the upper hand? Rax coming down for Carnage as well. long gathering from gold there. I don't know if that's an oversight from Carnage or what. But he's missing a storehouse, bro. What are you, a freaking noob? What are you, a damn noob? Come now. Build your storehouse. There you are. Eerie does have an archery range now. Okay, so getting down to second racks as well. So it looks like Eerie's going to lean heavily into a Spearman Toxotes composition here. I can't blame him. He's anticipating pretty heavy Asabara from the Persian player, and indeed Carnage thus far has Asabara and Sparbara. So Carnage, it looks like, on the other hand, is anticipating pretty heavy infantry composition from Eerie, getting down to double archery range. In come the Asabara here for Carnage, and he's going to sniff out this market line. So very unfortunate there for Eerie. Eerie did get a nice market line with his town center down here in the corner, but Carnage is going to get some damage on this market line. Eerie needs to react soon. He is going to send in some Spearmen and a few Toxotes. Should be enough to scare these Asabara away. They are getting about half health on this market, perhaps a little bit more than half health. What's Carnage going to do? He briefly starts to retreat, decides to maybe try to stick to the market, but then decides against it again. So he's going to bring back the Asabara and try to get in this tree line now for Eerie. And in fact, he is very squarely in this tree line. Nice. Eerie sends in the villagers, does knock out that low health Asabara. Down goes one villager. Down goes a second. But now, unfortunately for these Asabara, they are pretty much caught into this conclave of trees. And those spearmen are going to make short work of them. But more Asabara coming in the front here. Let's get a villager count 51 to 51. So dead even heat in terms of the villagers. Population is almost dead even as well. Eerie is population capped at 95. Unfortunate there for him, but still both players pretty even in terms of the overall population as well. Sorry, guys. These Asabara are going to try to break through these walls. Eerie's going to send a villager to repair them. It was trying to get down a guard tower, but decides to try to repair the wall instead, but it's not going to be quick enough. Down goes the villager, down goes the guard tower, down goes the wall. Sorry, puppy is being a little shit. Oh, that was cool. It looked like the... So he rebuilt the wall, and it accidentally kind of fell into this ravine here, which obviously you can't reach. It's blocked off entirely. But he deleted the wall to get the stone back, and it crumbled such that it looked like the crumbling wall was falling over the cliff. It was kind of cool. Look at this, though. Wasn't even looking, in the time that I blinked, Carnage suddenly has a very massive army, up by about 25 population. Very nice count of bowmen here. About 31 bowmen with some Asabara behind them. A couple Sparbara as well. So Carnage getting out a good deal of military units here. Real quick, I want to point out that this lake is kind of shaped like a heart. Boys, that's my heart for all you viewers, okay? Much love. Much love. Back to the action. Eerie coming in with his own army, Spearmen in the front, trying to bring down these Asabara. Toxotes in the back, dealing out a lot of DPS, but the Persian bowmen, again, are continuing to blot out the sun. Once again, the question is, are these Greeks the Athenians, or are they the Spartans? Once again, it appears they are the Athenians, at least for now. Persian bowmen are now positioning right here in the caravan line. That's going to be pretty devastating for Eerie, losing 2 caravans thus far. Going to lose a gold miner as well. Eerie trying to get in some reinforcements here and deal with this bowman ball. now Carnage is suddenly cornered, but this is a strategy that Carnage has been using quite a bit frequently, quite a bit recently, I should say, kind of backing himself into a corner to prevent flanks with his ranged units. But these Persian bowmen not quite as tanky as the Celtic Carpentum, which he is a fan of doing this strategy with, and in fact these Persian bowmen are going to slowly now die, only as a result of these units coming in here as reinforcements. Though they were slowly getting the upper hand, but Eery had defender's advantage, brought in the reinforcements, and so Carnage does lose all of his bowmen, but he is right back to max population at 160, although he is an H3, so he does need to throw down that third town center so he can get up to 180 population. And indeed, he is still up by 25 population overall. Another villager count, 79 to 75, so still fairly even in terms of villagers. Sending the Asabara up first. They might get caught between the cliffs here. They are going to just barely get out of there. Sarsophoroi in the front here for Eery. Going to try to get those Sarsophoroi onto the bowmen for Carnage. Carnage bringing in the Asabara for a flank. Counter flank here by Eery with some reinforcements. And it looks like Eery is going to be decimated. And the Persian player does get the upper hand. Now up by about 30 population, but Carnage decides to fall back a little bit. Looks like he is wanting to maybe regroup and take the damage that he got and look for another push another day. Investing very heavily into walls down here, trying to protect that precious market, Carnage is. And actually Carnage does have a pretty nice market line. In fact, his is a little bit more optimal than Eery's. Eery's is pretty good, especially because he's able to defend this choke point here. But Carnage has his second town center, well, has one of his town centers. It was his second town center up here, really tucked away in this corner up here. So nice market line there for Carnage. Carnage regathering his troops here. Going to send the Asabara out on their own mission here to this wall. Play a little bit of tug of war with the puppy real quick to keep her entertained while we do some casting. Trying to get some multitasking in here, folks. Oh, and I lost the tug of war. Dang it. I guess I'm not a great multitasker because I just let my grip slip, and she won the tug of war, which is pretty embarrassing because she's a 2-month-old puppy. Wow. Alright. The Asabara did break through this wall pretty quickly, and they are actually now going to get several houses. So Eery, interestingly enough, only had one wall and an unupgraded wall at that. It's a hard word, also technically not a word. Perhaps a word, I don't know. I admire you English as a second language folks, because A, you learned a second language, if not more. And that's impressive enough, because I only know one. But, you know, I sometimes don't even know English. So, pretty embarrassing. Nice setup here from Carnage. Very cool. He's setting up kind of a wall of storehouses to get these aid tents to heal his units. So, very cool forward base of operations here for Carnage. And it looks like we may have an engagement right here in the middle of the map, folks. Down goes the watchtower. In comes the Greek units. Carnage positioning his units well. Going for an envelopment. Has a very nice envelopment here. But Eery doing a nice job of sending some spearmen and hoplites to deal with these flanking Asabara. But nevertheless, they do get into the Toxotes. And with the Persian bowmen in the back, It looks like Carnage is going to handily win this engagement. Quickly dying is the army of Eerie. Absolutely decimated are the Greek forces right here in the middle of the map. Very nice play there from Carnage. But Carnage still not pushing in. I'm not sure why. He's now up by about 30 population. Perhaps he's not pushing in because he is headed to age 4. So perhaps the more intelligent play not to push in while you're headed to age 4. Although he does have a really nice bank of resources behind heading to age 4. So yeah, I'm not sure. Going for some war wagons. Very cool. Very cool there. Going for some war wagons. Eerie is squarely in H3. He is almost back to 180 max population. But suddenly the Persian player is again in H4 and has the potential to head to 120, or I'm sorry, to 200 population, and has some nice H4 upgrades at his disposal. Again, getting war wagon champion. Very interesting. Getting some more armory upgrades. Actually, a lot of technologies. Almost a full queue of technologies here for Carnage. So really putting that bank of resources to use. Meanwhile, Eerie still trying to kind of round out his age 3 force here. Eerie does have a siege workshop down. No academy though, so actually probably an oversight here by Eerie, because honestly the Greek player really... Oh, he does have an academy. I'm sorry, I'm a fool. I was about to say, surely there's no way Eerie would forget to get an academy as a Greek player, but look at this. The Persian war wagon onto the field in all its glory, and it's really going to turn the tide of the battle here for Carnage and GG from Eerie. Wow. Cool player there from Carnage. Well done. Alright, so Carnage takes game number 5. Ends up being 3-2 in Eerie's favor, but Carnage does get the last laugh, does get the last game there. So cool play there from Carnage. Pretty even in terms of the economy. Only outgathered by about 4,500 resources. But look at that, the technology's 14 technology lead there for Carnage. And Carnage's units, again, they just technologically and composition wise just had the advantage there. So well played from both of our players. Thanks for letting me cast Eerie and Carnage. Appreciate you guys providing us with some nice Monday night entertainment here. Monday Night Rumble in Spaniard's Colosseum. So that's just about going to do it for me here from Spaniard's living room. Especially because I need to deal with the old dog here and get some grub, because I was fasting today and I have not eaten yet and I'm very hungry. So, hey guys, seriously, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to the recent followers. Huge shout out to Rohani for finally dropping that follow, my man. Shout out to the Ace for the follow. Shout out to BBA Cog for the follow. Appreciate all you guys. Appreciate all the redemptions as well for the push-ups. Got in 70 push-ups between a set of 40 and then a set of 30. So I'd say that's not too bad. Truth be told, they weren't very deep push-ups, so kind of cheated a little bit. But I'm going to do better for you guys, okay? I'm going to get those push-ups in for you guys. But hey, thanks for tuning in. Y'all have a great night, and I hope to cast some more games for you guys soon. We'll see you later. Peace.